Hi everyone. Um, Today we're going to do a project um, or a tutorial looking at the text tool and a couple of the different ways to use it. So I've started a project already using a face mask and this image that I took of myself in my office with a red light that I thought was pretty cool in terms of the color. So I just used that as a foundation for my face demo project for today. So that's what that is. And I just mapped my own face on my face in this kind of slightly off-centered way, which I thought looked sort of weird and funky. Okay, so with the um, text tool, we can do a couple of different things. And I'm going to go up to the objects here and add in a face head binding. And the head binding, it comes already with this face occluder object. I'm just going to uncheck that because I don't need that. And we've looked at this before in terms of images attached to heads, but now we're going to add in text. So with this highlighted, I'm going to go up again to the objects button and select the text object so that there is now a text object in here attached to my head binding object. And here is what we have in the inspector panel for the text object. And we can write in messages here that we want to say project green light. So I can use this tool, attach it to another object and use it for in place of an image. I'm going to move this up here, and then you can see when I rotate in 3D space that my text object is down here and I want to move it. So I'm going to hit W and bring it up and have it attached to my face like that. I could have it over my eyes. Maybe I want my message to say something relevant about eyes. So I would say something like, I don't know, the all-seeing eye of the, you know what, I think my keyboard is on a delay or the battery's dying. Of the surveillance camera. I don't know. I'm just going to write a few words here. You know, I would spend more time on a really good message. Maybe I can bring in some quotes. I have a nice quote here, actually from the Nora Khan essay. Maybe I will put that in here. I could write in a whole essay if I wanted to. And then here, I'm just going to move that up. And it's pretty intuitive in terms of some of the settings that you can change because we're used to doing this in things like Word and other word processing documents. The difference is that there's, if I size this to fit, it's going to fit it to this interior object. So that doesn't work here. So I can change this. I can also add in something called dynamic text, and they give us a few different things here already, including things like the date. So if it's dynamic text, it is going to update. So it's putting in today's date and it is going to update according to whatever is changing with that data. So we could put in something like this. Let's say the virtual composite of your face becomes a focal point to tell you. Here, I'm gonna space this out, comma, and then insert the username. So here it shows up as Snap user. But whoever signs into Snapchat and uses the filter, it will automatically enter in their username. So you can directly address the user dynamically by using these dynamic texts here. And you can be creative with how they show up in your project. You can also add custom fonts and change the alignment, change the color. So we're used to doing things like that in our projects. Oops, I forgot to okay that. Add an outline. I don't think that looks good. Add a drop shadow. I'm gonna take that out. Drop shadow background, and there is under advanced layout letter spacing, so you can increase the letter spacing there. You can also add in some different things. So let's say I have this one text object. I'm going to make these two different text objects and add in another text object on its own. And that's because maybe I want to do different things with this object than I do with the other object. So I could, for example, if I hit the E key and grab one of the gizmos, I could rotate this way, and then I can, I could fill up my whole kind of face with all different text, or my whole filter can be a kind of visual creative essay that explains different statistics about surveillance. It could be different kinds of, things, messages that you want to say. It could be a poem. So there's a lot of different ways that you can use text. And there's also, so let's see, what are we on this? Yeah, so I could add in a component here. So under the 2D, it's limited what you can do with the text because it's a 2D object with a really specific way that it renders on the screen. But we can add in under the 2D here, a liquify component. And this is something you see applied to face filters a lot, but in this case, I can add it into my text component and kind of emphasize different parts of the text. So let's see if I move the position of the text itself. So maybe I would want to, so this would be one way of doing it. I could kind of like move this over on that and put I here, So there's different ways that I can kind of play with the layout of that. And then there's like different intensities of it. And the radius is how wide it is. So I can kind of use that as a part of my text effect. And I can also attach things to specific inset. So if I go to face inset and use, let's say, my left eye, I can attach text itself to the face inset. So I'm going to take this eyeball and move it up here. I'll rotate it and then go up to my objects here, and I will add in another text object. And here is where I might say, the all-seeing eye of the camera. I don't know, something about eyes, because I'm putting it into this inset of my eyeball. And here I might want to bring this down, and then I might make this bigger. Oh, so I have the text object is inside of the face inset. Let's see if I move it this way. So now the eyeball is in front of the text. So I could do something like that. And maybe I have all of these eyeballs around with different messages about surveillance. Oh, I grabbed the text. I want this entire face binding and I want to grab it. No, that's not what I want. Okay, so I really don't like this way that the navigation between the objects is. I'm really used to working with 3D, so it gets annoying sometimes, but this is the eyeball, which I want to grab. You got it wrong. Okay, well, I guess you have to move it in the 2D. So yeah, I could put these eyeballs all over the place with text going through it, or if I bring the text below it here, the text seems to be, I can write on top of it. So I could add all different kinds of body parts and things with different messages on it. And there's basically any object that you can add in, you can try to add in some text with it to see if it is something like cool for your project. So the text is pretty straightforward and easy. The other thing, so these are all text objects and they're attached to different parts of the face filter here. But I can also add in, if I go up to objects, let me go to camera, go up to objects, and there is a screen text. So if I add in screen text, it is text that's going to be overlaid and kind of, constant and not moving or changing. So I can grab this, and this might be something that I have as a fixed particular message. Maybe at the top. I'm going to pull it down a little bit. And here I could say, I don't know, something like end project, green light, so that it's my title of my project. I think the hashtag actually cheapens it, so I wouldn't do that. Put the hashtags in the captions for projects. So that's my recommendation. Don't put a hashtag on your project. But it could be some other relevant text that would go here. And then I can change where it's aligned with the box. So I can create this box, which is the margins, and then I can align it where I want, and then I can change it. I could center the text, put it at the bottom of that box, or put it at the top, depending on where this falls. If it's at the bottom, it might be a message down here. But this interface here shows you this to show you that, oh, that will get lost. So you might want to put it here. If you have a kind of caption to your project, you could put it there, and align it to the left or to the right, to the middle. And then there is an advanced option here that lets you pin things to the corner. So I could pin it to the upper left-hand corner, and that will show up in the left-hand corner of any screen size. I could pin it to the middle so that it always shows up there, to the right, top or bottom. So it can be a good idea to add in these anchor points that keep the text in a certain alignment. So I'd probably use this one here so that it always kind of aligns there on any screen size. Different phones are different screen sizes, and so it might throw off the alignment of the text if you have it in a certain spot and you want it to show up there on all phone sizes. It's good to use those settings there, but then you can't change it back to basic. So if you change it back to basic, it's going to switch it back. Okay, so that is how you use the text tool, and it can add in a lot of extra information to your project, or poetry or essayistic language can always help to bolster a project, and especially if you lay it out in a really interesting way. So I recommend trying it out, play with the text tool, and see if there's a creative way to add in some text to your project. Okay, see you soon. Bye.